Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Real SD Outdoors. Today, going over my top 3 baits for the month of July in South Dakota, and kind of an update video on how we've been catching them, different tips and tricks for how the fish have been biting around here. We've been catching them on a lot of top water. We've been catching them on a lot of wake baits and swim baits. So let's hop on into it. The first bait that I want to talk about is the Megabass Sleepergill. This bait, I've gone through probably 6 or 7 of them in the past couple weeks. The fish have just been chasing bluegill like crazy around here in South Dakota, and bass are just, they're following them and terrorizing them like crazy. So this bait I like to throw out there, a 20-pound fluorocarbon, throw it out there and let it just hit bottom and just creep it back to the bank, and or back to the kayak, either or. This one's missing an eye, which it could be missing both eyes. The fish just like that tall bait fish profile, opposed to the dark sleeper. It's a little bit longer and it's a little shorter. I noticed they've been keying in on this, not necessarily this pattern, but this shape a lot more than any of the other smaller swim baits that I have. That one I'm throwing on a 7.3 6 cents response rod with 20-pound fluorocarbon with the Corrado DC as the reel. So that's been one of my go-to baits probably for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I've been picking that up, kind of throwing it around. Whitney, she's been catching them on it like crazy. She caught probably 12 pounds and 4 or 5 fish just on that one bait. So I was kind of surprised. That's kind of what got us on to using that bait. So she kind of cracked the code there for us. But we're gonna move into the next one. The next one is the Gcrack Qbomb. This is the blue, orange, and green pumpkin flake, I want to say it is. I'll put the name up on screen. But I have this one just rigged with a wide gap, a wacky hook, and I have a little nail weight put in the back of it right there. And that kind of gives it enough weight to sink. And then as it's sinking, you pop it twice. You let it sink and you pop it twice. And doesn't matter necessarily if it's the Qbomb or if it's a Senko or any stick bait for that matter. The wacky rig it's been pulling them out of like weed lines and under trees, and we've been really catching them basically everywhere with the wacky. The Qbomb has kind of just been the go-to. Jacob, I'll throw his username up on screen right here. I never seen these in person until we started fishing together, and he showed them to me in person, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to try those. And he borrowed me just one, and I've used like just this one probably for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and I've been catching fish on it like crazy. It's kind of ripped up, but the durability of these baits is actually pretty crazy. I'm kind of messed around with making some of my own DIY dice, and the fall rate isn't necessarily the same. You have to stuff them with weights to get nail weights to get them down far enough, but these ones, it's just something about that action. The wacky rig, I'm normally throwing it on 15-pound high vis braid down to a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader on a 7-foot medium heavy spinning rod. Really my go-to for shaky heads, drop shots, wacky rigs, Ned rigs. I am kind of getting into the BFS side of fishing, so I'm working on using the lighter reels. You say 6-pound braided line to a 4-pound fluorocarbon leader. Been switching to those, trying to get those little baits out further, messing around with different presentations. So I have 2 packs of these ones on order from Omnia Fishing, and they should be here on Monday. It's Sunday as I'm recording this right now, and you guys probably won't see this till a little later in the week. But I got 2 packs of these coming, and then I have 2 packs of the new Strike King tumbleweeds, which are supposed to be close to the same thing. So, like I said, just a slow to medium retrieve, just as you would normally fish a wacky with a couple pops here and there. But that's my second bait. The last, not last, but it's kind of hard to pick 5 because I've kind of been working with just 3 plus maybe 1 more maybe. But my last bait is going to be the Buka brand rat. I'm not sure the exact name of the rat, but this one normally comes stock with a black tail roughly the same length. I caught probably 5 or 6 bass on it, and the tail was chewed off. So instead of putting the spare on that comes with it, I just took a pink zoom worm and I got that put on there. and it's been working like crazy. It's got a lot of teeth rash right here on it from where the bass have been biting it at. This is a subsurface bait, dives about, I would say, 2 to 4 inches under the water, depending on how you're retrieving it. And it's just a straight retrieve, and this thing gets hunting through the water back and forth and back and forth, and they come in and blow it up. So those are my top 3 baits for the month of July. Like I said, I didn't want to get too carried away because there's not a whole lot of baits that I've been throwing. I've kind of been stuck on these same 3 because I know that they're working, minus a couple other ones. The Texas rig is a big one. Anything with over like a 5-inch Senko up to a 10 or 12-inch worm, a ribbon tail worm, has been the way to go. Catching them in shade pockets, late afternoon, early morning. The lakes here in South Dakota are so choked up with grass right now. It's really hard to catch them when they're shallow because there's so much grass unless you're punching and flipping. Other than that, channel updates. We have a new video dropping, should be this following week. I have a unboxing from Omnia Fishing, so that'll be kind of interesting for you guys. I have a couple things I want to show you. Other than that, I have been working on some more editing and getting a little bit better with that, trying to bring some better intros to the channel, and you guys might see a new intro at the beginning of this video. But if you stuck around, I appreciate it, and that's been about it. I'm looking at getting some different stuff for the channel and doing some better editing and a little longer videos for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.